On today's episode of Phinside The NFL, is the best option for the Miami Dolphins to fix the guard position via a trade and not due to free agency or the draft? We will discuss that. Also, we're going to talk a little bit more about the combine. We're going to go over some staggering stats that show just how bad the Miami Dolphins run game was in short yardage situations. Plus, we'll talk a little Kate or Kohu and much more. Do me the favor. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new, as we are under 30 away to 17K. And I want to do a giveaway at 20K. Let's get into this.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field down the near side, man open. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. It's going over the touchdown again.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go! What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we got to be here for another one on the final day of February. Hope everyone is having an absolutely fantastic end of their week as we get ready for the weekend. As you come through, do me the favor, smash that like button, subscribe if you are new. I am live today. I will probably be live on Sunday as well. Saturday, I'm not so sure of. But yeah, Sunday will probably be live as well. So be out on the lookout for that, as we are right in the thick of combine season, baby. I love it. As you come through, like I said, do me that favor, smash the like button. We got a couple things to talk about. First of all, Aaron Rodgers to the New York Giants is the rumor. Stafford is staying with the LA Rams. The LA Rams also, they re-signed Alaric Jackson. They kept their left tackle. Oh, man, they kept him in in LA. No chance for him to hit free agency and get away from McVay and company. So great stuff there. Gotta love it, man. Absolutely gotta love it. And now the Raiders are panicking and pivoting. It's funny. I can't believe Aaron Rodgers is still. People are like, yeah, we can win with him. Are you serious? Okay. Well, then again, it is the AFC. So, anything is possible, I guess, when you're in the NFC and that weak division. I'll tell you this much. I hate to be the one to rub it in, but they would have looked a lot better. They would have looked a lot better if they still would have had Saquon, and now you were adding good old Aaron. Instead, it's going to be just a work in progress. And the rumor is he's going to bring Devontae Adams with them. So what? Now we're going to stunt because we want to play buddies. Now we're going to stunt the growth of Malik Neighbors. I wonder if Malik Neighbors ends up like I wonder if he ends up like Garrett Wilson, fed up. That's what I'm wondering, if it's going to happen out there, because he's turned into a little bit of a cancer wherever he goes. I mean, hey, I may be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But that's what I think. I don't know, man. Poor Giants. Dabble is going to hinge his whole career on Aaron Rodgers. Good luck with that, sir. Good luck with that. What else we got here going on here? We got a lot going on right now. Combine. Just some of these numbers are coming in. Some of these razzes are coming in and they're crazy. If you didn't have a chance to see any of the combine today, man, let's talk about a few things. I tweeted out before it went down. I said, today's the day Mike McDaniel falls in love with Darien Porter and tries to convince Anthony Weaver to be all in on him too. Then Darien Porter goes out and runs a 4.3 at 6'3". Holy Jesus. Man, you know, Mike McDaniel was giving the old nudge to Anthony Weaver saying, you see? You know that's what was going down. So I thought that was just, Now Darien Porter's 6'2", 7'8". I weighed in at 195. He had a 10-11 broad and a 36.5-inch vert. And then obviously he had a 4.3 40 and a 1.49 10-yard split. Again, at almost 6'3", 6'2", 7'8". That's disgusting. That's pretty ridiculous. But one kid I want to talk about because I've been gassing him up on this. Well, two kids I want to talk about that I've been gassing up. I tweeted out today. If you don't follow me on X, make sure you do, because on the days of whoever's testing, I'll point out some guys I like, and it's a way of me to show off some of my man crushes. Couple things. Number one, did y'all see Nick Emmanwori test today? Oh, man, if you didn't, you missed a treat. Nick Emmanwori is someone I've been consistently talking about that I'm hoping either there's no way he falls to 48. I would love to trade up and get him. I really would. We need more picks, man. I don't know what else to say, but look at Nick Emmanwori's testing today. We talked about him. I've talked about him a ton on the show. Look at the testing right here. Unofficially, he has the best relative athletic score ever. This would rank him number one dating back to when Razzies have been conducted back to 1987. So you're talking about almost 40 years of testing, and Nick Emmanwori, I already had a first-round grade on him just off of the play. I already had him as my safety too, him and Malachi Starks. Man, you look at this, 6'3", 220, running a 4.4, running a 2.55 20-yard split, a 1.53 10-yard split, a 43-inch vertical, people. A 43-inch vertical. And an 11'6" broad jump. Are you crazy right now? This is I want people to 43-inch vertical, ladies and gentlemen, at 6'3", 220. 11'6" broad jump. What are we talking about here? Holy, this is real stuff right here. And then you go out and run a 4.4, 255. That's unbelievable. Holy Jesus. He was one of the people I was telling everyone to look out for. We all knew he'd test well. I don't think anyone expected an over 11-foot broad jump and a 43-inch vert. Give me a break. This is craziness. And this guy, you can use him so many different ways. You look at his recovery speed. That's why the 40 doesn't surprise me. You look at his recovery speed. The clip I posted on X today was on purpose. It showed his recovery speed. Unbelievable. And there were some crazy times today at 40. Darien Porter, who I mentioned, ran the 4.3. But the one that a lot of people are obviously going to be talking about and are talking about, is Maxwell Hairston. He ran like he ran a 4.29 unofficially. And he got up to 24.25 miles per hour on that 4.29 yard unofficial. Now, Maxwell Harrison's 5'11", 183. All right. So when you're that much smaller, yeah, you know, you should have the wheels. But we got guys that are Darien Porter 6'3", over 200 pounds, and he's running a 4.3 flat. Oh my God. Nick Emmanwori's got a 43-inch vert, and craziness. Just really craziness, man. Honestly, you know, Matthew says it. Only if we got a second-round comp pick from Wilkins. Unbelievable. You're right, man. It's just unbelievable stuff right now. I love combine season. I'm here for it. I'm here for every single moment of it. Loving it. Man. We're talking about Nick Emmanwori tested in crazy. I mean, look at it. If you tested him as a wide receiver, he would have hit a 10 as a relative athletic score. If you would have tested him as a corner, he would have hit a 10. If you would have tested him as a linebacker, you're talking about 9.87. Like, we're talking serious stuff here. And Nick Emmanwori just ran a 4.38 unofficially. He just came in on his second run at a 4.38. Like, we're talking legendary stuff here. Holy Jesus. My Lord. You got to trade up. Especially if you get Will Johnson. At 13, then your secondary is scary. Oh, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Shout out to Nick Emmanwori. Doing crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And, you know, I'm just going to say this. All right? Like, Gunnar Helm, someone I've been talking about. I don't put a lot of stock into player. And listen, I'll usually I do a list and I get every player that Miami met with, and I'll do that at the end. But it really doesn't matter because, listen, teams are going to meet with basically every single prospect in some way, shape, or form. They're just going to get to know guys. Every top 200, they're going to just meet with them in some way, shape, or form. But I smiled when I saw this today. I'm not going to lie. The following teams have had formal meetings with Texas tight end Gunnar Helm: Broncos, Eagles, Texans, Bengals, Buccaneers, Bears, Dolphins, Jets, Rams, and Patriots. I'm telling you, McVay is going to try and snatch this guy. He screams McVay McDaniel. He really does. Gunnar Helm, man. Man, I want that guy on day 2. I'm sorry. I want that guy on day 2. I wish we had 2 third-round picks. Like, I really wish we did. I hope he's there early day 3 in round 4, but I doubt it. And he just offers you so much. He can play in line. He can play in the slot. I don't think Mason Taylor's going to be there in round 3. I think he's going to go in round 2. I really do. I honestly think you're going to have to spend a second-round pick on Mason Taylor. I just honestly think, especially at his pro day, he's going to blow it up. I was expecting him to test really well. I was expecting him to test and Dolphin fans to be clamoring for Mason Taylor. And then when he said he wasn't testing, I was like, okay, we're just going to have to wait. But if he would have tested, he would have made money this weekend. I'm telling you right now, he would have made some money this weekend. And he's on record saying he's been really working at refining his blocking game with his dad, Jason Taylor. And If that man refines his blocking, be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. I do not think Helm goes late first. I think there's only going to be 2 tight ends that go in the first. I think that's going to be Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. I don't think... I could see Gunnar Helm. If it's team smart, Gunnar Helm goes in the second. You know? I think Gunnar Helm and Mason Taylor are the next tier after Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. And guess what? I don't think there's that big of a gap at all. Like, I don't think there's a big gap. If you're a fan of Loveston or a fan of Warren, I don't think there's a big gap then between the 3 guys behind whomever your number 1 is. I really honestly don't. You know, I really don't. So, you know, a lot of people, you'd be surprised, a lot of people in the scouting community that I really trust and NFL teams have Colston Loveland as tight end 1. Now, I don't. I have Tyler Warren as a tight end 1 and Loveland tight end 2. But I think Loveland has a higher ceiling. So, and then I have Gunnar Helm 3 and Mason Taylor 4. I think Mason Taylor might have the highest ceiling. I think Gunnar Helm is really complete. And I think in the right offense and with a good quarterback that targets him, he's going to be good, man. He's going to be good. So I really like Gunnar Helm. I'm a really big fan of Gunnar Helm, especially when you look at what we need. And you look at value of where he'll be drafted. You know, like if you can get him in the 3rd or 4th, I think that's a steal. You know, like that's the thing. You look at those top 4 guys. You look at Tyler Warren. You look at Colston Loveland. You look at Gunnar Helm. You look at Mason Taylor. Hell, you can even throw Elijah Arroyo in there. They all have the potential where you could look back on this draft and say, oh, that guy was the best of the draft class. Like, that's the potential with all 3 of those guys. I think Tyler right now is the safest out of all of them. Tyler Warren's the safest player with maybe the highest floor. I think Helm is probably the 2nd highest floor. And then I think Loveland and Mason Taylor are probably the 2 highest ceilings. And then Helm would probably be 3rd. And then I'd put Warren at 4 or Arroyo at 4. It'd be one of those 2. I put Arroyo. I really don't see a massive ceiling with Warren at the next level. I really don't. Not a good separator. I think he's going to struggle with man, like with guys who can stick with him, like 2nd level defenders, whether it's a safety in a box or a linebacker. If they're sticking coverage, he's going to have issues. You know, I believe that. So we'll see, though. We will see how it all plays out. Draft season. It's upon us. It is upon us. You got to love it. It's always so exciting. But even me, you know, yeah, I'll do a list for you guys of everyone they met with when this is all said and done. But I am not going to sit here and I don't put a ton of stock because they're going to meet with everyone. They're just going to meet up with everyone. That's just what it is. You know? We'll see. So, shout out to all you. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Man, there's some, like, even like Jacob Parrish tested really well. Jahdae Barron tested really well. I know there's some Dolphin fans that want Jahdae Barron at 13. I think that's too rich. I have him as a slot that projects out in year 2 or year 3. I think he can work on the boundary. Personally, I wouldn't draft him that high. I do have Siobhan Revel ranked higher than him as well, than Jahdae Barron. Jahdae is my corner 4, I believe. Let me double check. I believe he's my corner 4. I don't have this. Yeah, I think he's my corner 4. Yeah, he's yeah. So I got Hunter, Will Johnson, Siobhan Revel. Jahdae Barron, and then Benjamin Morrison, and then Trey Amos, and then Azariah Thomas. So, Azariah Thomas, sorry. Yeah. And then I got Porter, and then I got Hairston. So, like, he's good. He's good. I haven't finalized that yet, though, but I will be finaling it soon. That board. But, yeah, I like Jahdae Barron. I think 13's a little too rich. I have a high second round grade on him. I don't have a first round grade on him. I don't have let me see. I think Will Johnson and Travis Hunter are my only corners with a first round grade right now. Let me double check. I know I had that on my phone. Yeah. Travis Hunter and Will Johnson are the only corners I have with a first round grade. Malachi Starks and Emmanwori I have with second round grades. Yeah. Benjamin Morris, Siobhan Revel, and Jahdae Barron all have high second round grades for me. So we'll see how the board falls. You know? All right, let's get into this. I wanted to talk about this. I meant to actually talk about it on the show with Neil, but we just didn't get around to talking about it. So I thought I would tackle the subject myself. Why not? So if you didn't see this, the Rams, they gave permission to Jonah Jackson to seek a trade. So he was just recently signed to a 3-year deal worth about $51 million. When you look at it, his cap number right now for this season is about $14.66 million. And then in 2026, when he's 29, it goes up to about $22.666 million. Now, the only way they really could trade him that makes sense is a post-June 1st trade. They would save $9 million and only take on about $5.6 million. Before that, they would take on an $11.3 million dead cap hit and only save about $3 million. But hey, maybe they work it out. I don't know. They're even set up to cut him if they want post-June 1st. But I'm wondering if this makes a lot of sense for the Miami Dolphins, given a few things. Now, let's start off number one. In case you didn't hear, it looks like Trey Smith is going to be staying in Kansas City. Now, why does that matter? That matters because Kansas City, they just gave him, they're going to franchise tag him, right? So that means that franchise tag, it's projected to be, actually the numbers came out today. So it's going to be about $23.4 million this year. All right. Here, so you guys can see where we're at. If you look at, these are the franchise tag numbers that came out today. Look at the non-exclusive rights franchise players. Offensive lineman, about $23.4 million when you see it right there. So that's that's because of the Landon Dickerson deal, right? Because, Landon Dickerson's making about $21 million per year. So, and the cap's going up. So you look at Robert Hunt got $20 million next year. Like, what if they're sitting there and they don't even got to wait? Let's be honest. They're already talking to agents and putting feelers out there. Remember that tampering window opens up. So they're going to have an idea before free agency even hits of what guys are going to be asking for. Like Mekhi Becton, first round pedigree, really only had his first good year, stayed healthy last year. What if he's asking for $14 or $15 million because the market for a top guy is $20 to $24 million? Like, I don't see them paying more than like 12 to 13, maybe 14 million for a guard. I really don't. Chris Greer doesn't value paying guys like that. Like, this is why I think they're going to, the guys that, like, and I'm going to drop, my free agent target list will drop next week, all right? I do it every year. We got all 22 in there for some of the top guys to show you. I think they're going to target guys like Will Hernandez, or maybe they're going to try and go for an Aaron Banks. I think they're going to try and go to guys in the $8 to $12 million range, and they're going to target guys with injury histories. And I know people are going to roll their eyes and go say that's so Greer, but their strategy is going to be, listen, they're going to look for guys who have performed, and this is how I'm not saying they're right or wrong, I'm just telling you their thought process. They're looking at it from a standpoint that if we pay a guy $8 or $9 million, but we get $14 million a year level play out of him, that's a win. You know? Like, that's how I could see. And, I don't agree with getting injury-prone players. That's how we got into the position of having to rely on Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg. If you want my honest opinion, I would go get a top-flight healthy guy, and then I'd go double up in the draft with 2 guards. Like Isaiah Wynn, I would bring him back as depth. You know why? His body can't take a starter workload. I would bring him back as depth. That's a better depth option, even if it's injured here or there, than Liam Eichenberg and Robert Jones combined. Brian, listen. Let me say this to you, Brian, because I hate to be the one to say this. I really do. Because he was a top guy I wanted for us, and I defended him. So this is coming from a objective point of view. I defended the pick when we made it. I've defended the player. But using hindsight, we should have got my number 1 player in the draft. My number 1 player in that draft was Penei Sewell. We should have got Penei Sewell over Waddle. Listen, wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks, they run on Saturday, offensive linemen on Sunday. Listen, I will defend Waddle. I think when he gets the chance to be a number 1, he's going to flourish. But with Tyreek Hill, using hindsight, knowing we were going to get Tyreek Hill, you didn't need Waddle. You needed Penei Sewell, and then you needed to go out and get a piece that complemented Tyreek from a size standpoint and a contested catch standpoint. Like, I'm going to post about him tomorrow morning. Why do I love Savion Williams so much, and why is he one of my man crushes at the receiver position? Did you know Savion Williams in 2024 led all FBS in contested catch percentage? He had an 88.9% success rate on contested catches. 88.9%! Think about that! 90% of the contested catches he had to go up for, that man won. Think about that for a second. And wait till you see how Savion Williams is going to test. 6'2", 6'3". I think he came in at 6'3". It might have been 6. But why do you think he wants to test as a running back? Because he's going to show these guys, I'm a multi-weapon tool. That's why this kid's going out there. Wait till you see how Savion tests tomorrow. Watch. This man's going to test really, really well. And you're talking about a guy with an almost 90% success rate on contested catches. Holy Jesus. Sign me up. But I digress. Going back to Jonah Jackson for a second here. It makes so much sense when you look at the situation right now. I mean, Chris Greer's not going to take Tyler Booker at 20. At 13. He's just not going to. I do think he would take Armand Membo at 13, but that's because he can play right tackle. He would take a tackle that can play guard, but he's not going to take a full-on guard. And you look at what these guys are getting paid. If these numbers start coming in ridiculous, like, You know how you're going to know? If Will Freeze comes through and Will Freeze gets paid, you know where the market is, and it's crazy. And you look at Jonah Jackson and you look at his cap hit, right? Yeah, it goes up to 22.6 million in 2026. But you can restructure that. You know why? He's got no guaranteed money in 2025 or 2026. So you can play with that money. And again, he's only 28 this year, 29 next year. And again, you got to ask yourself, really ask yourself, okay? They want to get out of that. They just paid Alaric Jackson. They just made it work with Matt Stafford. They're giving Stafford new money, right? So they want to probably get out of that money. And I wouldn't offer them a pick in the first 4 rounds. I'll offer you 156 from Denver. Or I'll offer you 2 of our 3 7-round picks. Are you going to get a better guard than Jonah Jackson at 156? Or in the 7th round? Probably not. Like, probably not. You know? Now, there's guys that I like that are going to be around there. I don't know if Jackson Slater will still be on the board by the time you pick in the 5th. Clay Webb might be around still. I like him a little bit. Maybe a Luke Kandra will still be out there. There'll be some guys out there. But Jonah's a little bit more of a sure thing. So you got to ask yourself, is it smarter for the Miami Dolphins to trade for a guy like Jonah Jackson and give up a 5th or 2 of those 3 7ths and say, yeah, I'll help you get out of that contract, but I ain't giving you very much more? I don't know. Because I'm telling you, if some of these guys are coming in asking for ridiculous money, you got to think about it. You have to. Like, you know, and I tell you, a guy like Will Freeze, that's gonna really tell you where this market is at. Because, you know, I think for a guy like Will Freeze, you know, and I'm just using him as an example. I mean, insert name whoever you want here, okay? You know, like, seriously, insert name whoever you want here. I mean, whether James Daniels, you know, he's coming off an annual average of like just a little over 8 million, right? 8.3 million. You know, if he's coming in now at $14 million, holy geez. You know? I think they see Will Hernandez as a guy who played well last year. I think they probably think they could get him for around $6 million. A guy that I like and I've been asking for us to get is Cody Whitehair. He can play center and guard. He's a little long in the tooth now. He's like 32. So, I don't know though. I would love a guy like Will Freeze, but I think he might be one of the highest paid guards on the market. I really honestly do. You know? Like, what's Kevin Zeitler going to command? He's coming off a really good year. Is he going to command like 10 mil? I know a lot of people are going to want him, even if he is a little long in the tooth. Shout out to Fake Spike 94. Says I'm back like EPMD. Oh man, Phinside Forever. Shout out, man. The Joint is one of my favorite old school hip hop songs all the time. Every time that song by EPMD comes on, The Joint, I lose my mind. I love that. It takes me back. So, I mean, there's options. I mean, I'm going to put out my free agent list, top 30. There's going to be some guards on there. Let me tell you that. Yeah, I know Freeze is coming off a significant injury, but he's got good tape. And he's probably one of the, in a weak guard class now with Trey Smith off the board, he's probably the top guard. He's probably licking his chops. You know? So, we'll see. We'll see. No, I know Hill got traded in 2022. I was using hindsight, saying if hindsight, knowing that we were getting Tyreek Hill after the fact, did you need Jalen Waddle in 2021? Godsey and Stutesville didn't even know how to use him. Everything he was getting was within 5 yards or in front of or behind the line of scrimmage. It was embarrassing. So, we'll see. Listen, something on this channel we've been watching together and we've been struggling through together. Smash that like button, by the way. Subscribe if you're new. By the way, Patreons, channel members, just dropped an update for you this morning. Patreons, I dropped a Patreon video. Channel members, I dropped something for y'all under the community post. Go check that out. Some information on the offensive line, a draft name I keep hearing and was even hearing again today. A lot of stuff you're going to want. And I got another update coming for y'all next week with some stuff. All right. Something we've been dealing with a lot as Dolphin fans over the last few years. It's not good. And that's been with Miami and trying to get short yardage. We've even seen Achane runs stop short of the end zone. And we're like, oh, he didn't score. We're not getting in. We're going to have to settle for a field goal. I don't care how many tries we have. Well, some great posts here by Sharp Analytics. Absolutely great Sharp stuff by Warren Sharp. Check this out. Percentage of running back runs that didn't gain yards. 28% of Miami Dolphins runs that didn't gain yards last year. Are you crazy? Like, that is nuts. The second highest team was Houston at 23%. Shout out to Slowick, who we just added to the staff. That is bad. Almost, think about that. That's 5% off from being a third of your runs. But it gets even worse. Check this out. All right. The Dolphins' 28% of stuffed runs for no gain was the highest of any NFL team since 2017. On third and fourth down, it was flat out embarrassing. An incredible 46% of the third and fourth down running back runs were stuffed. Worst rate of stuffed runs on third and fourth down league-wide since 2019. Holy Jesus. When you see this stuff, you're like, I don't care what the cost is. Invest on that interior. And here we keep going. How bad was it for the Dolphins on these key downs? The highest rate of stuffed running back runs on third and fourth down for the Dolphins since 2000. 46% in 2024. In 2022, 35%. And look at how far back you got to go. 2013, 2011, and 2014 to get us to 33, 32, and 31. Literally. Franchise worst by like a landslide. And see, why am I bringing these numbers up? Reason, what does this matter? Season's done. Every time we keep telling these people to invest in the offensive line, all these people, these detractors of the Dolphins or these haters of the Dolphins that claim they're fans, they always say we're talking about the offensive line as an excuse for Tua. Listen, I know how these people operate. 95% of their content on their channel or in their spaces is about Tua, and they're bigger Tuaneers than the Tuaneers that they claim are out there. But this is what I've been saying the whole time, and this has nothing to do with Tua. Well, it does have something to do with Tua because I've kept it objective. All of Tua's injuries last year were not on protection. Now, did protection kill drives and lead to sacks? 110%. I'll put it there. But this has never been just about protecting Tua. This has been about giving Tua time in the pocket to operate. But it's also always been about, we need a run game. What have I said for years? Years since I started this channel. You know how you want to run the ball in December? It's the same thing in the playoffs. Running the football in December is the same thing as the playoffs. You got to stop the run and you got to be able to run. In playoff games, you got to run the football. In cold weather situations, you got to run the football. In the AFC, you got to run the football. It's never just been about Tua. It's been about, I want team success. And if you can't run the football in cold weather, in December, or in playoff months, how much success are we really going to have? And we are the worst team when it matters. It's embarrassing. I mean, go look at those numbers. Yeah, in 2022, you saw it at 35%. But I didn't see 2023 on that list, did you? And you know why? Because when you had Connor Williams, when you had Isaiah Wynn, when you had Robert Hunt in there on that interior, along with Armstead and Jackson, you hung up over 70 points on the Denver Broncos. And what were you doing? I was calling this out last year. Never mind, when Tua was healthy, I was saying the run game. What was I telling all y'all? What was the one stat I would keep throwing out to all y'all? It was, I'll tell y'all, Raheem Mostert had 0 100-yard rushing games after the Miami Dolphins lost Isaiah Wynn. And then it got even worse when we lost Connor Williams. But I would always throw that stat out. Look at Raheem the Dream. Couldn't crack 100 yards after we lost Isaiah Wynn. It mattered even last year. You watch McDaniel throw these screens and you guys all get frustrated. But do you not realize how frustrating it must be for him? He's got to limit the things we can do with this playbook, and he's got to basically have a portion of the playbook is unusable because of our protection. Look at how much they try to mitigate the pass rush. Why are they forcing Tua to have it out quicker by a landslide than anyone in the NFL? That's not... Yeah, they're scheming away from their deficiencies. Whereas if they had an offensive line, the quarterback, the head coach, and your offensive staff believed in, imagine the things we could do, and you'd be seeing a lot different stuff. You'd be seeing more of what this scheme could be and what the vision is under Mike McDaniel. But because of Mike McDaniel playing patty cake with Grier and his busted draft picks like Liam Eichenberg, a draft pick who looked like he regressed, which I called out last offseason when we lost Hunt, he stays healthy less than Tua, and Austin Jackson, and a jabroni, I don't know who said invest in this guy, Robert Jones. Because they invest in these guys, it's hindered our offense, it's held back your playbook, and in turn, it's held back this offense. And all it took was Mike McDaniel, Frank Smith, or someone with some pull in that room to have a set of cojones look Chris Grier through the windows to his soul, right through his eyes, and say, guess what, bud? You busted out, admit you are wrong, let us move on so we can fix this situation. Not country club, everybody's a buddy. Hey, Mike, tell him we'll make it work. Hey, Chris, don't worry. Frank and the boys told me it's going to work. We got this. Because I've said this before. Anyone who approved of the idea, came up with the idea, and okayed the execution of the idea that Liam Eichenberg was sufficient enough to fill in for Robert Hunt, sorry, I don't trust your evaluation skills. I don't trust you as a roster builder, and quite frankly, you can get the hell out of my building. I'm going to be honest, I don't care who fits that shoe. Real talk. Same goes for anyone who said Robert Jones is a viable enough option as a contingency plan for Isaiah Wynn, who we know had a setback in rehab, but we won't tell anyone. We'll keep telling everyone he's coming back, he's on track. Same shoe. That's the other shoe. I got the left foot and the right foot. You can if both your if one of your feet fit in those shoes, or God forbid both of your feet fit in those shoes, get the hell out of here. Just saying. Now, Kader Kohu. Guys, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Kader Kohu. I wanted to talk about him a little bit because, as you know, he's a restricted free agent. Here with I showed you guys the franchise tags and the transition tags. Well, what was also released today was for players who have completed 3 accrued seasons as an RFA. So ROFR means right of first refusal. So if someone makes an offer, right? So you could 1 year salary of at least $3.263 million. That only allows you if someone matches it or exceeds it. Sorry, if someone exceeds it, you've got the right of offer for first refusal, so you can refuse to match it. 1 year salary of at least $3.4 million or 110% of 2024 paragraph 5 salary, whichever is greater. Right of first refusal and compensation of a player's original draft round. He was a UDFA. And I think the one that makes this one that makes the most sense, it's right of first refusal and compensation of 1 second round draft selection. So 1 year salary of at least $5.346 million or 110% of 2024 paragraph 5 salary. Obviously, I don't think they're going to put right of first refusal and compensation of 1 first round draft selection because I don't see them giving him $7.45 million. Same thing with right of first refusal and compensation of 1 first round draft selection. But any provision in new club's offer sheet waiving or limiting the new club's ability to designate the player as a franchise or transition player is not a principal term and needed not to be matched by a prior club for $7.9 million. I don't see them doing that. The third one makes the most sense. Because I think they're going to keep Kader Kohu. I know they were really high on him heading into the season. Fangio's been pretty high on him. Weaver's pretty high on him. The Dolphins are really high on him. So I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. At all. So I think right of first refusal and a second round makes a lot of sense. For real. So, and what's the plan? What's the plan? You know? Like the you know? Do you keep him in the slot or are you moving him out to the boundary a little bit more? He's kind of a disaster when he goes out on the boundary. I would leave him in the slot. And this is another reason why I would and this is another reason why, you know, I wouldn't want a guy like Jahdae Barron. You know? This is just another reason why. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, but, you know, man, you got to wonder, is the testing with a guy like Nick Emmanwori going to push him up high? I already thought he was going to go in the 20s. Now this guy had arguably the best combine. Is Nick Emmanwori in play at 13? I think it's a little rich. But my Lord. You're talking about a guy who's arguably the greatest athlete in NFL history coming out. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know. We'll see. Guys, do me the favor, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Fake Spike says, reason, I'm trying to give you a donation through PayPal. That PayPal ain't working, brother. That PayPal has been dead. I gotta set up the new I got another PayPal that I just haven't set up yet. So I'll set it up. But yeah, that PayPal, man, they hit me. You know, so I mean, right now YouTube is the way you can donate, but I will be setting up a new PayPal for this offseason. Don't worry. I got you. All right. But yeah, I got to set that new one up. They nuked the other one. So smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Appreciate each and every one of you for coming through. Hey, man, we're under 30 away from 17K. Let's get there. And smashing that like button helps me get with my friend Al. Algorithm gets me out there. We want to get up there and let's get some new subscribers. All right. We got some new stuff coming on the way. I got a new idea and a new show launching potentially. It's looking like April. So be on the lookout for that. And I will be live this weekend. It's probably going to be Sunday, but I will be live again this weekend. So be on the lookout for me. Smash that like button. Subscribe for new. As always, fins up all day, every day. And we'll see y'all in the next one. Take it easy, everyone.